Ladies and gentlemen, it's a very, very happy Saturday, and it's time to tag in with your favorite podcast duo. This is the Hot Tag Podcast. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We come at you almost every single week with these conversations. We want to get you involved every Saturday when we go live on Twitch. You hop in chat. Maybe I'll bring up your message if it's a good point, a good take. Maybe we'll have a conversation about it. Who knows? But we got a lot to get into this week. We got some Ric Flair stuff. We got some weekly updates we always go into. Seems like we always have Ric Flair's name in our mouth, and it's always mixed feelings. But before we get into any of that, as always, I am your host, Shake, and with me, as usual, my tag team partner, the man which I could not do this show without, Teddy. How we doing?
I'm here. I'm kind of tired, I ain't gonna lie. I made a big dinner this weekend. I made a big old Sunday, Saturday, but I made a big old spaghetti sauce and meatballs, big old platter, and then I made some homemade garlic bread, and then I made some strawberry biscuits.
I move in.
There's a lot left over. I made a lot. It took me about 4 hours to do everything, and so I've been slaving and cooking.
Damn, that's crazy. I don't do any of that shit. If it's not frozen, I ain't probably not making it.
Well, the sauce takes 3 hours to cook because it's supposed to simmer for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So,
Cook
but
all that
anyway,
shit down. Anyway,
I'm chilling. I'm here, and I'm ready to talk about Ric Flair because he's always coming at somebody sideways, and so it's time to come at him sideways. And I'm really not gonna come at him that sideways, but let's roll right into it. Ric Flair had made a comment on his show, which this comment actually irks me because it doesn't irk me. So Garrett had made the same comment when he was on our show 2 weeks ago. His was similar, but he said Ric Flair said he was upset that they didn't keep the tradition of having the Royal Rumble winner main event the WrestleMania show. Okay. Garrett said something similar. He said he would understand why if they did it because they're trying to put a prestige on the Royal Rumble winner. So his is a slight difference, and his makes more sense to say. Ric Flair's, he's just a crazy old man. He's just like, we're not keeping the tradition. What tradition, Rick? What tradition? I got a list right here, mofo, and I'm about to share it with you right now of all the Royal Rumble winners that won and didn't main event the show. And let's start with, and there's some heavy hitters, Rick. There's some heavy hitters. So you might want to take a back seat. Ready? Starting in 2006, Rey Mysterio won it. Did not main event the show. Yeah. Rey barely got enough time. His match was 9 minutes at WrestleMania.
For a triple threat, by the way.
Yes. And they killed it in 9 minutes.
Oh, it was awesome.
Undertaker wins it. And it's going to be his first title win in 10 years. He has the whole streak going for him, and he still didn't main event the show. Even though there's great argument with that, because him and Batista felt like they should have went on last. Whatever. So Undertaker didn't main event the show. The very next year, John Cena, one of the GOATs, as people say, wins the Royal Rumble after a dramatic return. One of the biggest Royal Rumble pops, one of the biggest pops in WWE history, and surprise entries. Wins the Royal Rumble. Doesn't main event the show. Very next year. All right, we're going to return back to Randy wins it and main events with Triple H, which he wishes he didn't main event with Triple H because they had to follow Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker.
Oops.
Go into it. Let's roll it back. So the next year, we got Edge. Edge wins it. 2010 doesn't the main event the show. So right off the back right there, we have, absolute legends and some of the top, and not just like top tier legends. Rey Mysterio, the best luchador of all time. The Undertaker, carried WWE on his back. John Cena, one of the GOATs. Edge, one of the GOATs. One of the biggest heels of all time. Made his return back. Next year, Alberto Del Rio. I don't even know where he was in there. Him and Edge. He wrestled Edge and didn't get the main event. The next year, Sheamus. Sheamus beat Daniel Bryan in seconds to open the show. Didn't even get a lot of time. So the next year, okay, we go back to the tradition. John Cena wins the main events. Batista win, he main events. Roman Reigns wins, he main events. Um, Triple H wins, he main events. Randy, 2017, wins, does not main event. Shinsuke Nakamura, 2018, wins, doesn't main event the show. 2019, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, which we know, Rick, you don't like Seth Rollins. So, okay. Wins, doesn't main event the show. And then from here on, the last couple of years, Drew McIntyre main evented the night. Edge main evented Brock, and then Cody. Tradition, Rick. If all of these legends didn't main event, what's your problem? And then not to mention, like I said, I know I might be starting to build up a reputation here of people thinking that I'm not pro women's rights or whatever. Like
you're very anti women's revolution.
But I'm not. I am very for the women's revolution, and I'm the guy who at WrestleMania 34 who was saying the women's match stole the show. I'm the first to say it. When they steal a show, I steal a show. I'm the one last week who said Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley, their match should be held in the same breath as Shawn Undertaker, Shawn Kurt, Bret Owen, and I'm the one who was saying those match and Macho Man and Steamboat. I'm the one who was saying that match should be held in the same breath. And if it isn't, it's because you're prejudiced towards women's matches. If that's the reason why you're not putting it there, because you're foolish. You're foolish if you don't hold it to the same breath. But I call a spade a spade. If it doesn't belong there, it doesn't belong there. So where I was going with that, only 2 women's Royal Rumble winners have main evented the show. 2. So where's the tradition, Rick? Where's the tradition? Asuka won it, the first ever Women's Royal Rumble. You would think after the first ever one, would entitle you to the main event. It didn't. Instead, we got a crappy Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar match. And Asuka lost. So, where is the tradition, Rick? Please tell me where it is. Because the fact of the matter is, it's your daughter, so you felt it should have went on there. And even Conrad was like, I don't think it was really should have main evented. We all know what the better story was. That's just it. Wrestling is. I don't care if you're a girl, you're a guy, you're in between, whatever you are. If you got the better story, if you got the best story, you should be going on last. And I'm sorry. And, there is a little difference when it comes to the world title, because normally the world title match is the best story, regardless, anyway. So, that's just how it is. I don't know what to tell you, Rick. I'm sorry. I do see the Women's World Championship as a world title, but the story's got to be there. Talk to your daughter. Figure out why they didn't have why the story wasn't there. I don't know. But it wasn't. And so I'm going to conclude with saying it's not a tradition. Don't say it's a tradition, because it's not.
I didn't take issue with what Ric Flair said very much at all. But I also took everything he said with a grain of salt. He's biased towards his daughter. He didn't even call her Charlotte on the podcast. He called her Ashley the entire time. Let's just call it what it is. He's biased towards his daughter. Nothing wrong with that, because we've seen it, but the story wasn't there. You're right. And that's the reason it didn't main event. It wasn't because they were women. It wasn't because they don't care about the Royal Rumble. It was because the Bloodline is the biggest story in upwards of 10 years. And KO and Sami Zayn has been building for upwards of 10 years. And for them to finally win the unified tag titles on the main roster against, which I will begrudgingly say, one of, if not the best tag teams of all time. How is that... You're such a bad guy for throwing that in there. How is that not the main event? I'm sorry. I get it. Did they steal the show? Did the match overperform Usos and KO and Sami Zayn? In my opinion, yeah. Yeah, it did. Because to me, I knew who was going to win that match between the Usos and KO and Sami Zayn before it started. Like, everybody and their mama knew that KO and Sami were going to win. I genuinely had no idea who was winning the match between Rhea and Charlotte until Rhea pinned Charlotte. Not only that, it was suspenseful. It was technically amazing. I heard two things people point out about that match because they're nitpickers and that's what they do. One of them being my co-host. I don't exactly remember. You mentioned
My
you
nitpick?
you mentioned one thing and I was like I don't even remember what it was because like someone else mentioned that like Charlotte messed up going for a figure eight or something like that and it looked bad, but
I don't think I pointed anything out because I was saying that match was great.
no, I'm not saying that you thought it was bad or anything, but I do.
No, but I'm saying I don't remember even nitpicking like I normally do. I don't.
thought you did, but
I
anyway.
think somebody else because I can't find anything to nitpick. I would remember, and normally I'm pretty good with what I nitpick, but I'd still say this match was a classic. Like I had heard people say that it started off slow, and I don't think it did. I thought it was just.
I thought it was great the entire time.
So did I.
Like
I just watched it back for the first time with Freddie, and man, that match is good. And Fred goes, "That was a really good match. That was a really good match." And I was like, "Yeah."
Listen, and then the only thing I took issue with, Rick, keep Seth Rollins' name out your fucking mouth. I'm sick of it, dude. Listen, there was no reason in this conversation about Rhea and Charlotte main eventing WrestleMania 39 Night 1. Did Seth Rollins need to come up at all?
He didn't like Seth.
He hates him for some reason. He goes, yeah, you know, and Rhea took chops from Ashley like Steamboat used to take him from me or something like that. And I was like, great, that's cool. That's a really good point, Rick. They were working stiff, and Rhea did let Charlotte work. But the next sentence out of his mouth, unlike Logan Paul and Seth Rollins who are laying there slapping each other, I'm like...
He did say he thought it was a good match, though. He just didn't like that spot. Which I don't recall that spot. I just remember the match being good. But I also was watching it live, so...
I don't recall the spot at all. I just remember thinking, I was like, of all of the things in that match, it was so good. That's what you want to point out. It was so good. Why even mention it like that? He has it out for Seth Rollins, and it drives me nuts. Because, yes, I'm a Seth Rollins fan, but, like, dude, why? It doesn't make any sense. Why do we need to bring down Seth Rollins to prove that Rhea and Charlotte was a great match? Because it was. Why? Stop it. You're the 16-time champ, buddy. Seth Rollins is not even... I love him. Is not even going to get fucking close to that. If he hits double digits, it'll be a miracle of God. Because what is he at?
Is he a 3-time champ right now?
Yeah, he's a 3-time world champ, and he's in his mid-30s. He's not going to get 7 to 8 more. He's not. I mean, he could. He could hit double digits, but he's not getting to 16 or 17. He's not even going to get close.
I mean, he's definitely got... If he stays healthy, he's got a good 10 years left. But, I mean, so does Roman. So does Cody. And so does the new guys coming up. So I don't see him getting... He's lucky if he gets 2 more title reigns in 10 years.
I think he could end up with 5 due to injuries and everything else. He could be the guy 5 times.
Yeah. That's what I said, too. He's lucky if he gets those 2, though. There's no injuries, no anything.
Well, if he doesn't get injured, too. Yeah, but anyway. My final take on it, Rhea and Charlotte stole the show. Absolutely on night 1. 5-star match. Shouldn't have main evented. Story wasn't there. I get where Rick's coming from on the Royal Rumble thing, but to Teddy's point, it's not really a tradition anymore. That tradition died 16 years ago, as Teddy pointed out. Okay, it's just a different age, and like that's a boomer take. That's what it is. It's a biased boomer take.
Over 20 years ago, Shake.
What?
That tradition died over 20 years ago.
Well, I said that because you started at 07.
06.
Okay. 17.
Oh, yeah, you're right. My bad. I did my math wrong. My bad.
Anyway, that's all we really got, I think, on that Ric Flair conversation.
Well, I do want to just reiterate, like I said, I don't have an issue with what he said. Yeah, so you want... Just say you would have preferred them to main event. But don't come up here and put some BS out there that this is a tradition, because it's not. It's not. And, like, I don't... Like, it's just not. I don't know what to tell you.
He wants it to be 1993 again, and he wants to be given the tear in my eye promo. That's what he wants, and he's trying to live it through his daughter. Is what he's honestly doing.
You won the Rick. You won the Royal Rumble and did not main event WrestleMania.
Well, yeah, at the time, the Royal Rumble just gave you the title, also.
Like, yes. So, like, Rick, you should know you're the world champion and didn't even main event the show.
Yep. Yeah. So
that's huge.
It's like we can't say anymore that Ric Flair is very out of touch with today's product, and he wants to act like it's the 80s and 90s again, and it's just not. For the better, honestly. I think the product is so much better now than it was in the 80s and 90s. There are certain aspects that I'd probably say aren't, but overall, like, it. Do me a favor, Teddy. Would you ever go back and watch, like, spend an entire weekend binge watching 80s and 90s wrestling? Probably not.
Depends on who I'm hanging out with. If I was hanging out with Zach, then yeah, but that's mainly because we're gonna laugh at it. I'm telling you, right. You haven't laughed until you watch an '80s wrestling match. I reckon if you guys want to go back and do that for laughs, like it's like watching comedies all day. Go back and watch a couple Wahoo McDaniel matches. Go back and watch a couple of Arn Anderson matches and Tully Blanchard. Just watch them absolutely annihilate, local competitors. They beat them like they stole something. It's just hilarious. And then when I go back to watch this, some of it's just bad wrestling. Some of it's like Wahoo McDaniel used to drop an elbow and be 20 feet from the dude and then pin him. It's like completely clear as day miss, then pin him. So I mean, that's it for shits and giggles and laughing, but not because I want to watch it. Like I also didn't watch it at that time, so it's hard for me. But I don't like going back and watching the Attitude Era. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't enjoy going back and watching the Attitude Era.
I do. I still enjoy it. Well, that's because like I really enjoyed some of the mid-carders. Like I was a big New Age Outlaws guy. Dudley's, the Hardys at the beginning of or at the end of the Attitude Era. But even before that, like I don't know, the mid card was cool. You had Mankind rolling around through the mid card. Undertaker was mid card at certain points.
I watched a couple matches back then. I mean, I like the end of the Attitude Era. Like I said, when you're like I don't like watching until you get into 2000, at the end of 2000 and then 2001. Anything before then, I don't like watching.
You didn't like watching WrestleMania 17 and have the sirens blaring for 3 minutes when Right to Censor came out? You didn't like that?
That's 2000. That's 2001.
Oh, well, that made me want to hurt myself. Like I still remember very, very vividly, like how awful that is. Right to Censor was like.
I don't know what that is.
They were a faction, like that were all like clean.
Press with the suits. Okay, I remember them. Yeah. I also think WrestleMania 17 is overrated. Sorry.
Besides, yeah, I mean, you do have one of the greatest matches of all time in Stone Cold and The Rock, but that's pretty much it.
So here's a take on this, and I think this will lead us into a great topic. It wasn't planned, Shake, but let's roll with it. I think it's a good topic.
Not too much happened this week, so we can kind of roll through it after.
Somebody said to me at work that they didn't like the Cody. They liked the Cody Rhodes match and Roman Reigns match, but they didn't like it because of the interference. And they're tired of the interference. They're like it ruined it because Jay was in there, Jay and Jimmy, and then Sammy and Kevin, and then Solo, like he got ejected, came back, and I said, well. One of the most revered matches of all time, like, celebrated match of all time is Rock and Stone Cold at WrestleMania 17. And I said, and here's my hot take on it. I love the match up until the ending. I absolutely think it ruins it for me, is that Vince McMahon came out and then got in the middle of this match. And then the way this match ended was just Stone Cold laying into The Rock with chair shots over and over again. Like, that kind of actually ruins it for me. So, I don't ever voice that opinion because it's an unpopular opinion. But for you to say that and then but for you to talk about this match, Roman and Cody, but then still praise Rock and Austin, Come on, come on now. Like there was some heavily involvement in the last one. Like Vince McMahon coming down. Like to
I
me,
th-
it's the same thing.
I
Huh?
think I think it's also an exhaustion because we've been seeing those same run-ins for 3 years.
Yeah. If anything, it was good for me this time because someone came to the rescue. And was I
Right.
upset? Was I bummed out? Yeah. But in my opinion, no lie, like Cody and Roman was the best match Roman's had in a long time. It was damn good. And it wasn't because like Cody carried him. Like Roman stepped it up and was like Roman like
Yeah.
he was so charismatic in that match. So and he was so good. My God, nobody in the WWE has sold the Cody Cutter better than Roman did that match.
Well, it got to the point when I was like, he started he hit the first Cody cutter, and then he hit the second one. I was like, oh my god, this is happening. Oh my god, he's gonna do it. Oh my god.
Oh, when he hit the crossroads in the second one,
No, that's what I
I
was thinking. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I grabbed on to Zach and was like, "He's gonna win! He's gonna win!" I was like, and then I was like, "Oh, oh, oh!" Like you ever see that meme of what is it? Um, Who was the Seattle Seahawks corner?
Richard Sherman.
Richard Sherman when he when yeah when he was his
Yeah.
face when they lost the Super Bowl. That's exactly how I felt. Exactly how I felt, but yeah, I think that match was good. But what I will say is, we're hearing a lot from legends. A lot of legends have weighed in on shit if Cody won, and a lot of them are saying, "Hey, I'm not going to tell them how to run the business. Obviously, they have a plan." They all seem to very much trust Hunter if he's in charge, but they all said, "I do think they've lost out an opportunity. I do think it wasn't like I think it was the time." Everybody agrees that they think it was the perfect time for Roman to win, and even though Roman said they're making blaming Young, it's like, well, we're at the point where it's no longer slow cooking; it's just you're overcooking it.
Yeah, you don't cook filet mignon that long, Roman.
And it's like it's like you're overcooking it right now. As Denzel Washington famously said, and remember the Titans, you're overcooking my grits. You better get to it. Like goddamn, like this was. So I've said every legend has said that they think it's a little long and they think Cody actually should have won. And so a lot of people are like, but hey, we trust Hunter, and like that's where I'm at right now. But I do think they can recreate this whole hype behind Cody. And I said to Zach actually earlier, Zach played me a call. I said, I think they can recreate this hype behind Cody. I really do. And his whole redemption train. And then I said, but my only thing is I don't think like this year we didn't know who was gonna win. We really had no clue because we knew 1,000 days was coming up. So we didn't know. So the shock and excitement from him winning would have been there. Where I don't think if this comes around again next year at WrestleMania, I think we're going to expect Cody to win, and it won't be as much as a surprise. We're just going to be like, well, we seen it coming. Or, but here's a possibility though. It could be that, and it could be just like you still get the same reaction you would have gotten this year because we're so excited. Now we're going to be chopping at the bit even more for Roman to drop that title. So, but
But
it could just go the other way where it's not. It's like you lost out on, that term "lightning in the bottle" is there for a reason, and you might have missed out on an opportunity, or you might not have. I don't know, but it,
I think I can say with a lot of confidence that they missed the boat. Just like we're at the point now where two things. I I assume Cody's gonna beat Roman, but I don't really care about it as much anymore.
he's got to beat Roman. Like I don't want no one else to beat him but Cody.
Yeah, and
Now, hey, now that's something, and a lot of people have said that what they have generated. Now, if like we would be like, and that shows you that there's a new element to this story that we don't want anyone to beat Roman. We want Cody to beat Roman.
I mean, yeah, but like I just to me it's like the Rock and Roman. Don't care about it anymore. I'm gonna be honest. Like, would I be excited for it? Would I get hyped? Yeah, but I don't. you missed the boat. Like, it was one of those things that, like, yeah,
I
you
don't
had the
know. I
time.
think we'll still get behind that.
I'm not saying I won't, but like, I've been waiting for this for so long. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of like it's kind of stagnant for me, and that's where I'm at with Cody Rhodes. Is like, I know it's gonna happen eventually, but like, and I'm gonna be really excited. Don't get me wrong, because it's gonna mean a lot for the future of the company and everything else. It's gonna open everything up, but like, dude, they had everybody. That place would have been shaking. Okay? The National Weather Service would have received a Richter scale rating that there may have been an earthquake in the area if Cody beat Roman.
I'm now getting hearing aids because I would have lost my hearing.
It's unbelievable. And not to say that there's not going to be a huge pop and huge reaction, because there's going to be, because it's going to be this long payoff story. And like, I'll get to my side here in a second, but like, I don't know. I just feel like they missed the boat, and now I feel like they're trying to give Cody Rhodes, like, again, his like, I think Vince got in the air, was like, oh, we got to give him his hard times, like like the Dusty Rhodes when he was chasing Ric Flair kind of deal.
My only concern with that is, like, Cody's 37 right now. Like, now you wait a whole another year, he's gonna be 38. Like, you're running out on time on how long this man can carry the company.
Yeah.
But then again, I say that, and like, I thought about this a couple minutes ago. Hey, you gave the reins to Batista at 38.
Yeah. I don't know, but like, also, Batista wasn't as far into the game as Cody Rhodes. You know what I mean? He had.
And also, they have different styles where Batista's just come back, because it's like Stone Cold style. Stone Cold's a brawler, so he'll always look good when he comes back. Batista's just a powerhouse, explosive, quick guy, so he always looks good when he comes back. Cody's style is going to change in a few years. In 5 years, it's going to change. He's not going to be able to move like that anymore, I don't think. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, Shawn was doing it forever.
Yeah. Listen, I don't know. I'm still upset because the timing felt impeccable for WrestleMania 39.
It did.
And,
so impeccable that it felt weird afterwards. It was like, oh, I can't believe. It's like one of those things where you wake up the next morning after you just lost a big championship game, and you're like, I can't believe it.
It was like, it's like Step Brother. What the fuck happened?
It's like,
it's like, you guys are moving out. We're not going on the boat, and we have to go to therapy. What the fuck happened?
It's rough. I said this is the closest WWE's ever come to feeling like a real sport. Where you woke up, when you woke up the next morning, goes, man, he lost. We were so hyped behind this guy, and he lost.
I get it.
That's how the opposite team feels when they lose the Super Bowl. That's how all their fans feel the next morning when they wake up, and they're just like, he lost.
That's how I felt in 2004 when the Red Sox completed that fucking full sail comeback against the Yankees, and like, that's just, you don't do that. You don't blow a 3-game lead like that in a 7-game series. Like, you need to win 1 before they win 4, and you don't do it. And it's like, this guy had been champion for so long. You finally get somebody to take out the Usos. You get Solo kicked out, and you still didn't win. That's pain.
I love how Cody said to him, I had you.
Yeah. He's right.
And I was like, you tell me, you sure as hell did, and we all believed you had him. And so I hear there's rumors that.
What?
There's rumors that Cody's gonna win at SummerSlam.
That'd be weird. But at the same time, the draft is happening in a few weeks, it seems like. So, like, I don't know. Because
Roman's gonna be at 1,000 days real damn soon.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like, how long can a brand be without a world title?
Exactly.
Like,
I mean,
even at a network standpoint, right? This is something you mentioned months on months ago, that USA is sitting here like, hey, we don't have a world title. Like, he's a SmackDown guy. Like, he shows up on Raw, but it's not the same. Roman Reigns is a SmackDown guy.
um, yeah. I'm looking at my battery and I'm like, how the hell?
All right. I think that's. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about this week?
Yeah, one thing. Wrestling was, here, there. One thing bothered me. LA Knight losing.
A lot of people not happy
Again.
about that.
Again. Why? Like, why? Like, do you not want this guy to succeed? Like, he is hot right now. Like, he's red hot. People love this guy. It's like Cody lost. LA Knight keeps losing. What are you doing? What are you trying to just bury the people they like the most?
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I think unless you like have him on a string of bad luck that leads him straight into Money in the Bank, and then he becomes Mr. Money in the Bank, it becomes an immediate superstar.
He would be amazing as Mr. Money in the Bank.
Probably the best since Edge. I don't think anybody. Well, Seth Rollins was great with it, right? But I don't think anybody is close to Edge as being as good at Mr. Money in the Bank.
No, that would be hot. That would be real. I would love that. I think that would be hilarious.
I think we're now
And
past.
they do that because I guess Edge was saying right before he cashed it in, or one before someone was saying right before they won Money in the Bank, they just kept losing. They're like, how's this gonna work? And they're like, don't worry, it's gonna be a race as soon as you win.
Yeah, because that briefcase changes everything. Because you're now no longer the loser who hasn't won anything. You're the guy that can win a world title in 3 seconds if you want to.
LA Knight, as Mr. Money in the Bank, that would be gorgeous.
It would.
Yeah.
And I think we're past the point now where we don't have to consider Sami Zayn for Money in the Bank this year, right? Because he got the unified tag team win. We got that payoff, which, sorry, Sammy, but now nobody wants to see you as a world champion anymore. That ship has sailed.
I never did.
I think for a hot minute, if it happened in Montreal just to split up the belts and then they found a way to keep one belt on Roman, I think everybody would have been very, very happy with that.
Yeah, now if you give it to Sammy, it just complicates things, especially now that Cody lost.
Right. Well, I think if that happens, Sami Zayn wins at Elimination Chamber, only gets one belt, and then Cody. I feel like Cody losing to Roman when he only has one belt and his back's against the wall like that I would have been more okay with. I don't know. Just interesting.
Cody would have been a megastar right now. He'd be the hottest wrestler in the world right now if he won.
No, yeah, it's
And then going straight into a feud with Brock Lesnar.
Why? So dumb. That has Vince written all over it. Apparently, not only were there changes on the Raw after Mania, apparently Seth Rollins walked out.
Well, I would be too. They changed his promo mid promo.
Yeah,
out in the ring.
He was like, "Why the fuck are we in commercial right now? Like, I'm supposed to be cutting a promo. What's happening?" And then they told him about the changes. I guess he stood in the ring, let them sing his song. He threw the mic and walked out.
All right, well, I think we had some good conversations.
Yeah, I think that'll bring a nice little close to our conversations. Thanks to everybody that was hanging out. We appreciate you guys so much. We'll catch y'all next week. Peace.